speakers around the world, like entrepreneurs, like scientific. It's really interesting. Our next speaker, the adjectives that define himself are open, curious, and active. Please, let me introduce Jose Cruzet with silence.
Silence. What is it? Is it lack of sound? Yes, it's true. It's lack of sound. But it is much more. Mother Teresa once said, "In the silence of the heart, God speaks." If you face God in prayer and silence, God will speak to you. Souls of prayer are souls of silence. These are spectacular words. So it seems silence is much more than just lack of sound. Let's analyze silence a bit. How can we observe silence? It seems obvious, but it's not. In order to observe silence, in order to notice that it is silent, we ourselves, we have to be silent. We have to be silent both outside, without making noise, not talking, but also inside, by not thinking. We can't observe silence by thinking about it. So, the moment you become aware of the silence outside, you are silent inside. Spiritual leaders say, the mind has become still. And what happens when you are silent inside? Something very interesting happens. Don't you realize sometimes in your life that your best ideas sometimes they come from out of nowhere, sometimes especially when you're not thinking on them, and especially or when you're not thinking at all. So what happens is not thinking or silence gives room for creativity. Creativity for ideas to come to you, instead of being suppressed by all the thoughts on our mind and all the noise around us and inside us. This is a context where creativity and solutions to problems can be found. Spiritual leaders say this is a situation when the divine talks to you. So, how do we find and experience this silence in order to improve our creativity? By not thinking? Do you think it is possible not to think? There's so much content in the mind and so much noise and so much thinking, and we have always a need to fill up our mind with new knowledge, with new information, that it seems very difficult to not think. Especially, we are talking about things which are going in our head and also things outside of our head, external and internal things. So it seems impossible to think, don't you? Let's make an experiment all together. What are you thinking between now and now? What did you think? Nothing. You were not thinking anything. At least I hope most of you did not think of anything. The point is, of course, if I would have done this for a longer time, suddenly somebody would have thought, how long is this going to take? You know? But usually when you are aware and completely aware of something and present, then you're not thinking. Yeah. So what we can find silence in awareness, total awareness, and being conscious of our environment, of ourselves. You know? But when we are trying to be conscious and to observe the environment, we should observe it without any judgment. So we shouldn't put label to the things. We shouldn't evaluate it. We shouldn't say if it's good or bad, I like it or I don't. We just should be very conscious and open. And that is then when we are totally aware and alert, we can experience the silence and so-called stillness. So, to summarize, when you notice the silence outside, when you're completely silent inside, when you're completely aware and alert, when you're conscious of your environment but without judgment, then your mind is still, you're present, and you're in a state of meditation. Yes, meditation. That's it. If you ever wondered what meditation is about, that is it. Being present in silence is a key to meditation. It's a 1,000-year-old technique. Some of you might have heard of it. And besides stimulating creativity, there are also health benefits in meditation. Many studies have been done which proved that meditation improves concentration, memory, reaction time, etc. And it reduces stress, anxiety, depression, headaches, etc. So practicing silence does not only stimulate our creativity, but also improves our health. So silence is much more than lack of sound. I want to end this talk with an open and a bit philosophical question. In this world, do we need more knowledge, more faster computers, more scientific analysis? Many people agree that it's not knowledge, but wisdom that mankind needs more than ever. I can't say if this is true, but if it is, then we should listen to silence, because total awareness and silence are the key to spiritual growth and wisdom.
Thank you so much. Now it's time to evaluate.